Hi, everyone. I hope you are doing well. And if you're in Ohio, I hope you are out enjoying this beautiful, amazingly warm weather we're having today. I know it seems like I say this every single time I come on here, but the energies have been so intense lately. I was looking back, and I think the last video that I did for any type of social media, pretty sure it was around Christmas. And I think I said during that time my intention was to record more videos. And January, it's just been pretty much since New Year's Eve. We had an X class solar flare come in, which is the strongest and the most rare type of solar flare. And we've just been bombarded. We actually had another X class solar flare this morning. We've had lots of M class, which are the moderate, still a high level, still strong energies coming in. If you don't follow that already, or you're really not sure what I'm talking about, you can download the Space Weather app. But if you know yourself, you've noticed yourself feeling off lately. Yesterday, and there's no explanation. If you know you don't have a cold or a virus or something else going on. Yesterday, I just felt really dizzy, which is not a common thing for me to experience. I just felt weird, and I felt very heavy. And by 4 o'clock, it was like I was just inundated with this wave. It just crashed on me, just fatigue. And I ended up lying down for 2 hours and, had intended to work out and do all these other things. And it was just, I just thought to myself, there's absolutely something strong coming in. And sure enough, a couple more M classes came in, and then the X class this morning. So thankfully I'm feeling energized and a lot better. But these energies that come in, it's an extreme amount of light and high vibrational energy that's coming in. So it affects people differently. My theory on this is, if you're someone like me who is walking this path and the spiritual path, and has the ability to process these energies, right? I work at home. I feel like I tend to get hit harder with that because I have the capability of taking that in and processing it. Now, I did notice, when I traveled for 3 weeks, I was kind of concerned, like, how I was going to function, and it was fine. And I know some of my friends, they notice, when they have to be at work, in a physical place, they're not hit with it. And then when they're at home and they're able to actually just be, that's when they start feeling some of these things. So I could do a whole separate video on that, and maybe I will at some point over on YouTube. But obviously I want to keep this brief. I know everybody's busy, and I do have limited time here on Instagram to post. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Wanted to mention today is the new moon in Aquarius. It's a super new moon. And it's a very, new moons are dark, obviously, because they're new. It's not like a full moon where you're seeing the whole energy, right? It's the start of a new cycle. And with it being in Aquarius is kind of an etheric, kind of a odd energy. It's this, I'm getting like a push-pull between anchoring into higher realms. Think about the technology that's coming in now, the age of Aquarius, with all the AI, and Aquarius energy is often associated with aliens and people who are a little bit odd, but it's also associated with community, right? So it feels like we're in this really, January was a really heavy void, where I had a lot of stagnancy happening, where it's like, I know there's so many things in the pipeline that are coming up for me, but some of the old cycles, some of the old things hadn't quite closed out yet. And so you're sort of in this, well, I'm going to keep doing this, but you're hitting a wall, like it's not really working anymore. And yet you want to keep going, you want to keep pushing forward, you want to keep spreading the light, but that door is slowly closing and fading out, and different community, people are coming in. So there's been a lot of triggers, there's been a lot of things to work through, just a lot of heavy energy. One thing I will say is, I think the whole world is feeling it. Even if you aren't on the spiritual path, I think everyone can appreciate that, especially, any election year, but it seems like election years, the last decade or so, have been just extra intense, extra divisive, a lot of just fear and anxiety that's out there, not just with in connection with the election, but just with everything as a whole, because society as a whole is shifting and changing. People are getting to the breaking point, financially, with not being, with inflation and not being able to afford, the way that rent is, right? But you can't get a loan to get a house. I mean, there's just all these things that are building up to this precipice, to the point where it's like something's got to shift. And that's what the Age of Aquarius is about. So, one of the things that, I was guided to come on here and share with you all, and the messages that I've been getting is, it can be hard when that anxiety creeps up and that fear creeps up, and you see people, just tearing each other apart on social media, and you think this world is so divided. How are we ever going to bridge gaps when people are so far apart, in their beliefs? Whatever your belief is, you look at the other side and you think, how can they believe that? How can they, push this viewpoint, and how can they push this viewpoint, and back and forth. And it seems just like there's no middle ground. And what we're being pushed, and why there's so much pressure, is that, that divisiveness, it's not sustainable. And so I think what people are feeling is just this heaviness, this sludge that, society can't keep moving forward like this much longer. And we're seeing a reflection of that in, in Earth, in Mother Earth, in her energy. We're seeing the climate shift. We're seeing, more natural disasters. We're seeing just a lot of heavy things. A lot of people choosing to leave the Earth now. There's a lot of that happening. And so what my advice is, and what I've been hearing, is that you have to look at, even if you think that this person is all the way over here and their beliefs are crazy or whatever it is, you've got to recognize that you do have something in common with them. You do. We are all human beings, and we all have the same mother. We all have the same mother giving us life, sustaining us, giving us plants and animals to eat and the air we breathe. And, we have that shared interest in keeping our mother alive, so that she can continue to nourish us, so that we can continue to live and thrive. And the best way to do that is to, number one, stop taking from her physically, right? To try to, do things to take care of the earth, but just sending her love. I know it sounds crazy, but sending her love and sending other people love, even if you don't agree with someone, doesn't mean you have to be their best friend. It doesn't mean you have to spend time with them. But instead of, responding to someone with, if you're online, let's say, and you're on a political website or whatever it is, and somebody's just being whatever, instead of maybe engaging and putting out that equal negative energy back at them, it's not going to do any good. It's not going to change their mind. You can just take a step back and just say, okay, that isn't what I believe, but they're a human being, and you just send them love. And instead of, the more love that we put out in the world, and it sounds crazy, but seriously, go hug a tree and tell Mother Earth you love her. I could go on and on, but that's the community that we're building. All right, is this community of respect and shared love, and taking the high road. Where our society doesn't move forward. If we force and try to force our beliefs on one another, we have to push that aside and try to focus on the things we have in common with one another, which is that we're humans, and we're all children of God. Okay, so running out of time, but speaking of community, I do want to share that I have some events coming up. Those are posted on my IG, and I did share them on my Facebook as well. Teaching Pound Fitness, a free class at Rotor Shoe Center in Kettering, and that is this Sunday morning, the 11th at 10 a.m. Again, free. I suggest getting there early because, it will be pretty crowded and we have limited space, so we want to make sure everybody's safe. And I also have a pound and pour coming up next Saturday, the 17th at 12:30. That's $15 at Bach Family Brewing, and that includes your drink and your class. And it's just a wonderful high vibrational time, a great way to get in a workout, all fitness levels, and to hit the floor and get your stress out, and to rock out and become the music. I also have Sacred Sunday coming up at Exhale Yoga. That is February 18th, the first one, with drumming and energy updates. So check that out on Mind Body, and feel free to message me if you have any questions about that. Take care.